Hey friends, good morning and welcome back to yet another fresh vlog. So today I'm going to do a quick comparison between Xpulse 200V and the Ronin 225, of course, a 4 valve, right? So yes, these two bikes are not from the same genre in terms of being off-road spec bikes, but still uh, they are from the 200cc category. You can hear something roaring right behind you. So that's my friend Yogesh on his Interceptor. So yes, let's let Yogesh join in as well, because he also rides Xpulse 4V, so he would be able to add some points and content here. Alright, so without wasting much time, let's dive into this and talk about what are those similarities or differences between these two bikes, right? So Xpulse on the first hand is out and out dual sport and more of a trail bike, I would say, simply because it comes with a 19-inch wheel in the front, with a single channel ABS, spoke wheels of course, and the back is a 18-inch wheel, which is really a perfect combo for off-road spec bike would be like, right? And adding to that, the long travel suspension, right, which can really take real undulations, bad roads, and no roads or whatsoever, right? You can do water crossings, you can do hills, you can do mountain rides where really roads do not exist also. So that's the USP and the strong point of this bike. Coming to Ronin is more, sort of, they call it unscripted, right? So unscripted means that it can do touring, it can do commuter, it can do day trips, it can do a bit of off-road also. But what major difference you'll find between Xpulse and this is, this one comes with a slightly stiffer suspension, but really planted and very well for high speed and tarmac riding typically. But you know at times you feel that this should have had long travel suspension, right? So that's something which I felt today when I did a bit of off-road and tarmac. But then again, both the bikes sit in different class or category, so we really cannot say that this is an advantage or disadvantage. But Ronin comes with real top spec Showas. Suspension is really top class for the day-to-day use, be it city commute or touring, blah blah blah, etc. So that's on the front setup side. And of course this comes with a 17-inch wheels on both front and back, and yes, it comes with a 300 disc brakes, dual channel ABS, which adds to the comfort and safety. And this comes with off-road spec tires, so which is surprisingly, these tires are holding up really well, even in the tarmac, even in the rainy condition, even on the off-roads. So they're doing wonderful job. These, I heard, that were specifically built by TVS, specific to this bike only, right? So that's about the front aspect. So let's move to the lighting department. So on the lighting department, so I've turned on the ignition of both the bikes. So TVS Ronin comes with a beautiful DRL with a T shape, whereas Xpulse has these puny little DRLs on the side, which are hardly visible, right? So now when I turn on the bike, this is the low beam what I see on the Xpulse. So if I turn on the Ronin, this is the low beam what I see on the Ronin, right? Much brighter, even on the low beam as well. So when we switch to the high beam, I've switched to the high beam on Xpulse, and I switched to the high beam on Ronin. So Ronin definitely has a much better light overall, and really lights up the road really well, and not really wanting you to go with additional set of lights. So that's the point what I'm talking about here. All right. So in terms of indicators also, that comes with a regular halogen bulbs. This is complete out and out LEDs, real top spec. And yes, this comes with adjustable levers which you can adjust to your requirement. And yes, both are oil cooled. Both come with air plus oil coolers inbuilt on the bikes. And moving further, this bike specifically, I would want to call out the 220 mm ground clearance, right? 220 mm ground clearance really helps you give that tall bike stance and also help in real hardcore off-roading conditions. So that's the advantage or USP of this bike, I would say. Whereas Ronin comes with not too bad, not too great, but 181 mm. 181 mm of ground clearance is quite a lot actually. You can do most of your off-roads in this one. So yes, that's where I think it's built to some off-roading as well, is the conclusion there. Yeah. So moving on to the engine department. The engine on this bike is a Honda derived engine, of course, comes from unicorns of the world, or Achiever and all those bikes. Yes, it's typically started off as a 150cc, and then it was upgraded to 200cc, and then four valve system came into picture. So engine on this bike will definitely feel a bit gruff, not as refined as Ronin, and even the gearing on this bike will not feel as slick and smooth as the Ronin, simply because that's more sophisticated setup on the Ronin than what you have on the Xpulse, right? Xpulse comes with a regular electric starter which cranks the engine and makes that noise and then starts the engine. But whereas Ronin is built with silent start system, again better technology, new technology, something more refined and all that. So that is on the engine. And yes, Ronin comes with slip assist clutch, whereas this Xpulse comes with regular conventional clutch. Not that the shifting is tough, but it's a bit notchy, and gearbox is a bit notchy, and the engine is also a bit gruff as it heats up. And that's one thing which I want to call out. Whereas this bike, no matter which gear you're in, no matter which speed you're in, right, engine is smooth overall all through the rev range. We did see it in the other vlog today what I posted. So once you're in the fifth gear, fifth gear has a very wide range of about from 48 kilometers to all the way to 120. You saw that today. So that's what it is. And extremely smooth across the rev range. And I really wish I could really take this engine from the Ronin and put it in my Xpulse. Literally, I felt that way today. So yes, this is a bit gruff. Somebody who's very sensitive can really feel it, but otherwise you are okay. And another thing, if you really are looking for a bike where you want to do out and out off-road and commute in the city with no roads or bad roads, where Bangalore is one such city, so this is a perfect bike for that, right? And provided you are able to manage the height, right? This is really a tall bike. If somebody who's 5'8" can just barely manage this bike, otherwise it's going to be a bit of a hassle, right? Bit of a hassle. But again, it depends on your riding skills, how you can really manage or maneuver the bike. So yes, my friends, so this comes with upswept exhaust. You can really ride and wade through the waters. And yeah, so that's a little bit on short comparison in terms of what I wanted to do today on this bike. Whereas if you're looking at overall comfort, right? If you say just comfort, Xpulse is better on comfort, because simply because of the long travel suspension is the call out. And touring is a subjective matter, my friend. So if you are touring in say good to excellent road conditions, I will say it will be Ronin because of its smooth nature, capability, very planted suspension, and very comfort gliding ride. Right, you don't engine doesn't pass those harsh vibrations to you from your foot pegs or handlebar whatsoever. But whereas on the Xpulse, once you hit 75, 80, you start feeling those vibrations coming onto your foot pegs, handlebars, and engine becomes gruff. All that passes on to the rider. So that's the positive point on the Ronin, I would say. Agility. So agility, yes, I will give it to both actually. If the roads are bad, this is more agile because you can really stand up and ride. But if it's in city, I would give it to Ronin because Ronin can really cut lanes in the city, very agile. You can really maneuver the bike and flick the bike around in the city. So suspension, yes, we spoke about. This is top spec Showa suspension, a bit on stiffer side, but does the job perfectly well. But this is a long travel suspension, right? Long travel suspension always has certain advantages because it will give you that gliding feel when the roads are bad. So yes, those are the basic differences what I really wanted to call out. So now I want to invite my friend Yogesh. So Yogesh also owns Xpulse, right? So Yogesh also owns Xpulse. So let's hear from him what he feels. He's ridden the Ronin also. So let's hear from him what he feels about it.
First things first, when I took this out of the showroom, I felt that two things are necessary very much at the instance. One is the headlight.
Yeah.
So I'm a nocturnal guy, as you know. We ride at 2 a.m. and all. So anything which is not good with the headlight, although they have given 21% extra in this 4V, but we have to upgrade it with an auxiliary pair of...
yes, it's mandatory.
Yes.
Otherwise you cannot see anything.
You cannot see anything. And if anybody comes in back and it camouflages your bike shadow onto the main road, and you cannot see anything. So that has happened to me several times, and I have put extra Mad Dog Scout X.
Yes, yes.
So that is one addition, and the horn is blunt.
Yeah.
And I feel it requires a massive upgrade.
Yeah.
So apart from that, the third point is, when I rode his Ronin, I felt a different smile on my face because the engine is so phenomenally smooth. It looks like something foreign engine which has brought it and fitted together.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel.
That's the first engine which I saw from TVS. I own two TVS bikes. One is Victor GL and the Fiero F2. Although Fiero F2 is the accessory of Fiero.
Yeah.
But this engine is super smooth. And at all the RPMs.
Yes.
That is one point.
Yeah.
In Xpulse, from the minimum RPM, say 1000 to at least 3500, that is a harsh.
It is harsh, it is lagging, it is jerky.
Yes.
Then when you get to 4500 RPM, 4000 to 5500 RPM is the sweet spot on Xpulse. After 5000, it's a different story, which we already discussed. And before that, it is notchy, laggy, and it feels like, the fueling is not proper or what is not proper, but there is something going on there. So.
Yeah. And that is the one. Only mid-range band is like super smooth. It feels like a Japanese bike.
Yeah, correct.
And it's like short stroke. Looks like a high compression. If you have ridden the KTM and all, it feels similar to that. But this is like a different way where it does not hit when it compared to the KTM.
Yes.
Although there is a oil cooler.
Yeah.
Now the sweet spot of this Ronin is in all rev band. It is like it will bring a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Okay. And another point of this Ronin is the sweet exhaust.
Yeah.
The exhaust note is so nice,
so
but this is a little bit more trivial.
Yeah. So for somebody who has not yet heard the exhaust noise, so here is it to all of you.
Much of a more bassy.
Yeah. Would you like to rev it a bit?
Yeah, sure.
So this is how the exhaust sounds, my friends. So yes, my friends, that's the sound of a Ronin. Really amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
And the exhaust note of this is bit more treble like.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not pleasant to hear, but it's okay. When you are on the Ronin, at least the time passes listening to the strokes
Yeah.
of the engine when you are at least
It's a
in
beautiful
the
sound.
signal.
It's a beautiful sound. I really enjoyed even on the highway today.
Yep. And the plus point of the Xpulse are like, is this bike can take you anywhere? Yes.
Yes.
Is this bike can take you anywhere? Yes. But when you are on a mile munching way, like 6-lane or 4-lane highway, this is definitely a mile muncher.
Yeah.
But whereas Xpulse, you have to set your expectation at a proper place.
Exactly. And if you take it more than 85-90, it will start passing on the vibrations, and you don't feel comfortable on the ride.
Yeah.
Overall. But on this bike, I really tested out today. Up till 105, zero vibrations on the foot peg, zero on handlebar whatsoever, completely zero vibrations. At 110, I really felt slight vibrations on the foot peg, but that is something I can live with, but not on this bike. I did a long ride on this bike on a 6-lane highway. I tried to pull it to 120. I was trying to ride it in 100, 120. Believe me, my friends, I really regretted having this bike on that ride at that speeds. But if I had this, probably I would have really loved the ride at 100, 110 or even 120. I did 120 today on this bike at 8000 rpm, and I was left with another close to 1000 rpm left. So I didn't push it further. I'm not sure what speed this is going to do. Is this going to do 140? Maybe, may not be, but that's for the later day. So yeah, anything else, Yogesh, specific?
Yes. The aesthetics of this bike. This bike is designed in such a phenomenal way that there are some bikes which are started nicely, beautifully, but ending is bad.
Yeah.
But in this bike,
Yeah.
it started with a very good note and ends with a very good note.
Yeah.
The fender and the front fender, it's very nice. And if you see that, the wheelbase looks to be short.
Yes.
But the Showa suspension has got a little bit more
Yeah.
angle, that is called as a rake angle.
Rake
And
angle.
it makes your bike more stable.
Yes.
Although people say that the turning radius might be more, but it adds to your stability, my friends.
Yes. Yeah, correct. Absolutely. So today when I was riding it, I could ride this bike like a cruiser sitting back, and I could also, duck in front and move forward and ride it like a roadster also. So yeah, this is the rake angle what Yogesh is talking about.
And one more point to add is I do not feel like we have to add a auxiliary lamp for this.
Yes.
And he gave me the bike on a high beam.
Yeah.
I had to switch it to low beam
Yeah.
because that was enough for me.
Yeah.
And they have designed it well.
Yeah.
Whereas in Xpulse, the high beam has got only one element,
Correct.
SMD,
Yeah.
and two elements for the low beam.
Yeah.
But still, it requires some improvements.
Correct.
So you have other 3,300 rupees stock plug and play.
Yeah, but still you have to add something, right? End of the
something,
day, that is something, I will never think of adding aux lights on the Ronin.
Right.
It's more than enough.
That's
more
true.
than enough.
And initially, I was skeptical whether to open the headlight to put my auxiliary, and I had to wire it my own.
Yeah.
Because I do not want to give this bike to in somebody else's hand, so that the collateral damage is more. Some color is gone. This is that.
Yeah.
So I feel whenever stock is giving you, TVS is giving in this condition, I need not upgrade anything other than the top box.
Correct. So yes, my friend, so that's a bit short comparison, I would say, between both these bikes. So yes, I'll not have a verdict in terms of which is a winner, but I think it all depends on your use case in terms of what is your ride pattern look like, right? Where do you ride? What is your ride pattern? Say 70% in city, 30% highway, or wheresoever. It all depends on your ride pattern in terms of what bike you need to pick. But one thing I can tell you is, if you want a super refined engine which will bring a smile on your face, it has to be Ronin. But if you are looking to ride in extremely bad roads where you require very plush suspension, then Xpulse is going to be your pick. So yes, my friends, that's a short vlog for today, and thank you for tuning in and watching, and thank you, Yogesh, for joining me on this one.
Anytime.
And yes, look forward to more content on this channel, exciting content, as we take a break for the day. Thank you.